super excited today because I get to talk to Jane Velez-Mitchell.
Hey!
Jane, if you guys don't know who she is an award-winning television journalist and best-selling author. She's got some amazing books. Her latest is Exposed: The Secret Life of Jodi Arias. And she's got many more, and I'm going to put up all the links. But we are, with our babies, she's got her Foxy, and I've got my Macy, because we're going to talk animals.
And I got a little Cabo in the background. He's napping. You can see him over my shoulder.
Cabo, that is so too cute.
Cabo San Lucas. Foxy was found outside on the street in Fresno, and Cabo was left in a box outside a shelter in South LA.
Oh my gosh, that is so great. Yeah, I found Macy on a street corner, so yeah, and she's even talented. Beautiful. Macy, howl. Howl? Ow! And so maybe
because they'll start howling too.
Yeah, okay.
Wow, we may even have another. We have a rescue cat who just came right up to the computer, but she's now behind the computer. I think she was very intrigued by that howl.
Macy's very talented. So, Jane, you've got a new venture called Jane Unchained. So tell us about that. Yes, I do.
Well, I'll tell you about it. Obviously, my passion is animals and speaking for animals. And I've been blessed to have the opportunity to do so, and I want to continue to do so. So I just came up with that name, and was just brainstorming with some friends and my girlfriend, and it just sort of kind of rhymed. It sort of had a little ring to it, Jane Unchained. And of course, what we want to do is unchain the animals. Yes. And so that's the theme behind it. So you can go to janeunchained.com, or you can go to my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Jane Velez-Mitchell, without the hyphen, just put it in there. And basically, we just started with my friend Donnie Moss of theirturn.net doing interviews with people who care about animals, and we've had an overwhelming response. Some of my posts on Facebook have been viewed by 150,000 people, 100,000 people, 70,000 people, 80,000 people.
I'm one of those people. People are commenting like crazy. It's insane.
Yes.
Yeah.
So frankly, when I started it, it was just on a wing and a prayer, and I said, I don't know, maybe 7 people will respond or watch this.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe the response. So I think there's a hunger out there. Americans and Canadians, and indeed people around the world, care about animals. It's the social justice movement of the 21st century. We have to do something about factory farming. It's morally wrong, in my opinion, to keep a pig who has a higher IQ than a dog in a gestation crate the size of her body, unable to turn around her entire life. It's wrong.
It's horrible. I guess these crates are 7 feet long by 2 feet wide, and they're in there their whole life, and they go psychotic.
Yes, as wouldn't anyone.
Yes.
Wouldn't anyone become psychotic, kept in a crate, unable to turn around? In fact, one of the things that I posted that got a tremendous amount of hits was the Humane Society went around with a human gestation crate and put people in a crate, unable to turn around, and then showed them the pictures of the pig gestation crates. And you can also see that on my Facebook page if you go and scroll down. And I want to repost that because it really tells the story. The people were unable for 4 minutes to handle it. And these pigs, these female pigs, have to be in there for their entire lives. Unbelievable cruelty that is justified by saying, well, you know, it's for their own benefit, so we can really watch them and take care of them. Please do not insult our intelligence.
Right.
That is just double speak. That is
exactly. And the picture that you, one of them that you'd posted, I mean, there was just hundreds and hundreds of their thousands.
Never seeing the sky.
The
only time they smell fresh air is when they stick their snout out of a truck on the way to the slaughterhouse.
Yes.
No, this has to stop. I've devoted my life to ending this. And, you know, there's a bill on Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey's desk to ban gestation crates. I urge everyone to call the governor, Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey, and say, please, ban the crates, ban the pig crates. Now, of course, you know, he's considered a likely presidential contender in Iowa, which is a huge pig-producing state. I don't say pork, I say pig.
Yes.
Pork is pigs. Yes. Pigs. Okay? Dog meat is really a dog.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think people realize it.
Something else. Pigs are just like dogs. In fact, the biggest response we got for anything that we've done since I started Jane Unchained was we did a live to tape interview with Esther the Wonder Pig.
I watched that this morning, Jane. That was so awesome. The 600-pound pig.
650-pound pig that two guys in Ontario thought they had gotten a pot-bellied pig. They actually got a 650-pound gestation-size crate pig. In other words, a very kind of female pig that would be put in a gestation crate. And we had a camera on Esther the Wonder Pig going around the apartment, the home, and then going out into the backyard and showing how happy she was, of course, moving around. Yes. And that anyone who would dare to insult our intelligence by claiming that these pigs are not tortured by being unable to move, this video of Esther, the happy Wonder Pig, being able to move around really showed that obviously all creatures want to move.
And, also if you put Foxy, or if I put Macy in a little crate and kept them there their whole life, we'd probably be in prison. We would be but
farm animals are exempt from most humane laws.
Yes.
And California passed Prop 2, which I worked on tremendously. I collected signatures at the Santa Monica Farmers Market and threw a party and did all sorts of things to pass Prop 2. I didn't care. I mean, I was out there doing anything I could because I can't sleep at night thinking about these pigs. And we passed Prop 2 in California, which phases out pig gestation crates, and now it's going across the nation. And I just say, Americans, whoever's watching, get involved. You can change it. Download Farm to Fridge. Watch Farm to Fridge. Watch Meet Your Meat. Tell people at the office. Tell people at the church. Tell people at the synagogue. Tell people at the dog park. Tell everyone what's going on because, frankly, the second somebody sees one of these pig gestation crates, it all becomes clear. You could talk about it forever. Right. But it's one picture, one video of these animals trapped in there. You can see in their eyes they're tortured. You know, it tells a story.
It does, and I mean, if people would just stop eating, bacon and pork, that would really solve it. But I am so surprised about how popular bacon is. It's constant. I mean, on Facebook, people are posting bacon. There's chocolate with bacon. It's bacon. It's like a bacon craze.
First of all, there's faking bacon. There's, in other words, Eve's and all sorts of other companies. I shop at a health food store. I urge everyone, shop at a health food store.
Yes.
And frankly, I will say this, a lot of the mainstream stores and supermarkets have these healthy options available. And they have sections that are what they call the faux meats.
And they're delicious.
And they're delicious, and they have no cholesterol, and they're lower in calorie, and so you won't get you reduce your chance of high cholesterol and clogged arteries and all those things. I mean, obviously, what's good for humans is good for animals, and vice versa.
Yes.
And if you want to talk about world hunger, sometimes people come up and say, well, you care about animals, don't you care about people? I say yes, because in the time that you and I have been talking, Marla, how many hundreds or thousands of children have died of hunger and malnutrition? Now, if we took all the grain and the soybean, not to mention the water, that we feed to 9 billion farm animals, 9 billion with a B in this country, to raise in institutionalized cruelty and killed for food, and distributed that grain and that soy around the world, we could end world hunger.
Absolutely, right, absolutely. And also
one of the biggest causes of climate change.
And you're a vegan, you walk your talk, and what about, I have the belief that when people eat meat or eat these poor pigs that have been tortured, that we are taking in their fear, their sadness, their terror into our bodies as well when we eat that.
Well, here's the thing I like to say. I quote Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a great philosopher, who says, peace is every step in every action that we take throughout the course of the day. We like to view peace as something way over there, across the world. Let's find peace over there. But actually, peace is right here in every decision we make throughout the course of the day. And boy, I fall off, the peace tightrope all the time, and I got to smack myself in the head and get back on it because I'm loud and argumentative by nature, so it's difficult for me. But one thing I can say, no matter what dumb thing I've done throughout the course of the day, when I put my head on that pillow at night, I can say I didn't kill anything today. I didn't kill to survive. We do not have to kill to survive. I am healthy. I do not eat.
You have more energy than anybody I know, and you don't eat meat.
People are saying, "Oh wait, Tux, come on over, Tux." But we got a little kitty cat right over here. I think. Oh, there's her tail.
Wow, we got the tail.
Here's our rescue cat walking by. I'm so glad you joined us, Tux. Yes. And, you know, so I feel that that is really the big leap that we as a species need to make. And let's face it, we cannot, meat production, meat eating is not sustainable. We're going to have 9 billion people on this planet, it's estimated, by 2050, which is not that far from now. And everybody can't be using all those resources.
No.
It's just not a sustainable model. That's why very smart people like Bill Gates are investing in alternatives to meat production, and he writes about it. He blogs about it, and he's invested in companies like Just Mayo, Hampton Creek, which is coming up with an eggless mayonnaise. One of the things we just did on JaneUnchained.com and on my Facebook /Jane Velez-Mitchell is talk to Josh Tetrick, who is the very good-looking Southern dude who is the head of Hampton Creek, who has produced this Just Mayo, about the fact that Unilever just sued them and said, oh, you have no right to use the word mayo, or, in other words, you're not really a mayonnaise because you don't use eggs.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's, I believe, personally, and Unilever, you want to talk to me, you come on my Facebook page anytime, but I believe it's backfired because there's 17,000 results when you put in Unilever sues Just Mayo, and Just Mayo is all over the place. It's in the New York Times, and it's in all the major publications. Now, I didn't remember sometimes when I was going out to get my vegan mayonnaise, and I also like vegenaise or veganase,
yeah.
I call it. Yeah, I like that too. It's great. It's delicious. They're both delicious, Just Mayo and veganase. I have them both in my fridge. But sometimes I was wondering, and I would tell my girlfriend, oh, you know, let's get that other mayo. What was it called that Josh is... Now, I'm never going to forget, Just Mayo. In fact, Donna, would you do me a huge favor and give me a jar of Just Mayo? And thank you, my dear. And here it is, Just Mayo. I want to show it to everybody.
I love it.
It's absolutely delicious. And Josh Tetrick, who created Just Mayo, and this is eggless, dairy-free mayo, he's a Southern, like I said, he looks like a football player, Southern dude. He said, I want a mayo, an eggless, cruelty-free mayo that my dad, who is not a vegan, will just really love. And so his litmus test is he wants a mayo that is just going to rock the house, and it has. That's why I think that the big food corporations are threatened by it. Yes. So everybody, let's just give Josh Tetrick a little, you know, applause, and go out and get some Just Mayo. You can get it at Whole Foods. You can get it all over the place. Just Mayo.
I'm going to get some today. Well, I mean, and people don't realize that the dairy industry and the veal industry is all hand in hand, and putting all the chemicals and the hormones and all of that into our body. And I was reading an article that you had quoted and said that when you met Howard Lyman, author of Mad Cowboy, when he says, hey, well, do you eat dairy? And you said yes, and he says, well, that's basically liquid meat. That was a long,
yes,
and that's when you
19 years ago approximately, because I've been sober from alcohol. You know, I'm a sober person. I'm a recovering alcoholic. 19 years. It'll be 20 in April. Knock on. See if I got some wood around here.
I'll knock on it.
I'll get some wood afterwards.
I'll knock for you.
And it was after I got sober that I went vegan. I had been kind of what I would call a little bit of a mess of a vegetarian. I ate shellfish, and I interviewed Howard Lyman. Howard Lyman was sued by the Cattlemen's Association when he went on Oprah, and he told some of the secrets of... He's a fourth-generation cattle rancher who decided to spill the beans about what's going on in factory farming. And anyway, as a result of that, they won in court, but as a result of that, he had this book, Mad Cowboy, and he was doing a book tour, and he was a cause célèbre. And he's a real cowboy. I mean, this is not some, you know, effete liberal... no, this is a guy who's a fourth-generation rancher, and he has gone vegan many years ago. And so we did the interview, and I was at a station in Los Angeles, and afterwards he and his publicist said, so we hear you're a vegetarian. I said, yes. And they said, well, do you eat dairy? And I said, yes. And they both looked at me and they said, liquid meat.
Wow.
And what they meant by that was that you're part of the process of the veal, the baby boy calves that are taken away from their mothers and put in crates with chains around their necks to keep their skin and their flesh soft and then slaughtered. They come from the dairy industry. They're the excess.
Yeah, because they have to keep the females pregnant all the time to produce milk, right?
For the milk, so they don't need the boy calves, essentially. And so they become veal. So he had connected the dots in the interview, and of course, as soon as he said liquid meat, I never touched dairy again, ever. Now, at first, you know, a lot of people say, oh, I can't give up cheese. And I said, well, then just do everything else and don't give up cheese. But after about 30 days, I got a salad, and somebody accidentally tossed some Parmesan cheese in it, and I tasted it, and I spat it out because my taste buds had cleared. So, folks, if you're watching at home and you're struggling, remember, whether there's a reason why rehab's 28 days in a lot of cases.
Yes.
It takes about a month for you to cleanse yourself of whatever your addictive craving is, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or food, or a particular type of food. It's a process, not an event. So give yourself a little time, and I assure you that, you know, in my opinion, we're not meant to drink cow's milk. Cow's milk is for baby cows. Mm-hmm. And so when we're weaned from our parents, our mom, and the mother's milk, then we don't need milk. We can get calcium from plenty of other sources. So really, this whole idea that we must drink milk, cow's milk, well, first of all, I disagree with it. I don't think it's good for us. I think it's one of the, it's an undiagnosed, you know, a lot of people are allergic to dairy, lactose intolerant, they don't even know it. But also there's plenty of other milks, cashew milk, soy milk, rice milk, hemp milk, almond milk, the list goes on and on. I've just started drinking cashew milk, and it's delicious. Wow. Absolutely delicious. So somebody says, well, I tried soy milk, I didn't like it. Well, try rice milk or try cashew milk.
Yeah, almond's my favorite. Now, when people ask, they'll ask me this a lot, where do you get your protein? So this is an important thing to talk about because people keep asking, they think that you can just get protein from animals.
Yeah, there's plenty of plant-based sources of protein. Just Google it.
Yeah, just Google it.
Plant-based proteins,
and
because soy and beans, all sorts of legumes, and kale, and quinoa, and I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And lately, I've been to quinoa. First time I tasted it, I wasn't crazy about it, and then all of a sudden, I said, you know what? I really like this, and I've been on a quinoa kick lately.
Yeah, the quinoa kick. Well, and we don't need as much protein as people think. I think you need so much. So exactly.
Yeah. And look at the energy you have. I mean, you're an example. Yeah. You know, you're interviewing me, but I could just as easily interview you. In fact, maybe I will interview you. Coming up soon, I'll call you and we'll do an interview and post it on my site. All right. Because you're a living example. Look how happy and healthy you are. You know what? We're a happy lot, those of us who are vegan.
Absolutely. And look at how in our 50s we're, you know, just rocking it. I mean, we're not 25-year-old kids that are just, you know, going on fumes or something. I mean, we're really, you know, active. And what's happening with the horses in New York City, the horse-drawn carriages?
Funny you should mention that. I interviewed Animal Legal Defense Fund, and I'm about to start editing. Now that I'm in this new world of social media, thanks to my girlfriend, Donna, who is a whiz, she's helped me do all sorts of things, like taught me really how to edit, how to upload. I'm just going to edit an interview I conducted with Chris Green of Animal Legal Defense Fund, and they have just revealed some very, very stunning allegations against the carriage horses in terms of the number of accidents and how they believe they've been underestimated. Unfortunately, I live in the city, and I see these carriage horses every day, several times a day when I walk my dogs, and it's really no place for them. If you were to say, let's say there were no carriage horses in New York City, and somebody would say, you know what, let's bring in carriage horses.
Yeah.
And have them running through the streets with sirens and ambulances and police cars and cabs that are driving at 100 miles. They're driving fast, okay? I don't know if they're driving 100 miles an hour, but it feels like it when you're sitting in the back of those cabs and I always say, watch for the horses.
Yes.
And I'm in a cab when they're just cutting them off practically. Yesterday I was walking down the street. There was a siren and there was an ambulance and this horse was being pulled back. And I was like, I got to get my cell phone camera out because it told the story. You don't put animals that are flight animals in the middle of some of the busiest traffic in the world.
And there was one who dropped dead. Was it Charlie, the name of him, or dropped dead in the street? Or
we've covered protests. We've covered all sorts of things. Here's the key point. The mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio, made it part of his campaign that he was going to phase out the carriage horses and take them to sanctuary. Mm-hmm. There are sanctuaries already lined up to take every single one of these carriage horses so that they can live out their lives in dignity and in calm. And he can make it happen. He's got to work with the city council. You know what? What happens in New York spreads to the rest of the world. Call the New York City Council and tell them, we don't want carriage horses.
Yeah. In Chicago, I think they're trying to ban some. They're trying to ban them too. And yeah, it's and just for charm and tradition, they say, you know, it should keep going. But
chastity belts are tradition too.
Yes.
You know, does that mean we have to walk around wearing chastity belts? I always say that to people when they use it as a fur example. Oh, this is my grandmother's coat.
Right.
I said, well, you know what? Cut it up and give it to a homeless person. Mm-hmm. Take that fur from your mom, from your grandma, and it looks like it's from your grandma. It's out of date. Cut it up and give it to a homeless person. Give it to PETA. They cut it up and they give it to homeless people to keep homeless people warm in the cold. It is not fashion.
Right. Great idea.
Cruelty.
Great idea. Well, Jane, thank you so much for taking this time. And everybody's got to go to JaneUnchained.com and get on her Facebook page as well. And I'm going to put up all the links and get her book. And her latest book is Exposed: The Secret Life of Jodi Arias, which I've been following that trial from the get-go. It's fascinating. And
huge developments in that case right now. So if you go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Jane Velez-Mitchell, what I do is I don't want to just preach to the converted. And there's plenty of people that are my fans who I've written a couple of books on crime. I'm known for crime. And so I cover crimes against humans, crimes against animals, crimes against the environment. And this Jodi Arias case is just, there's one shocker after the next. So check it out. You'll probably see Jodi Arias first, but if you scroll down, you'll see a lot of animal stories.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Marla. Love you.
Love you too. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.